kind of our initial foray into multifamily service, we had teams that would support our multifamily owners and operators by answering calls after the leasing office had shut down and gone home. And it was through that process of reviewing, a really exciting time of reviewing thousands of calls that and I was totally naive about it. I just figured that their rent would be positively reported along the same lines as a mortgage. But we found through that process that it came up really often. It was really interesting because it was generally in the same portion of the phone call. It was kind of towards the end where they're wrapping up and they're talking about the next steps to apply for the apartment. And they would start talking about credit, and it would be in different forms. Sometimes it would be like Talia was saying, I've got challenge credit, I've got no credit, or other people were just saying, hey, I've been working on improving my credit. So we got started quietly, found a couple people that were willing and to start reporting. And through that process, we're learning more and more, and adding some additional benefits like budgeting and financial education resources to help people as they're building their credit. And then along the way, we got some feedback, and that feedback was, how can we really love this idea, but how can we make it easier? And that was just such good fortune that we looked in our parking lot and saw a big name, Conservice. And I, at the time, really didn't know what Conservice did. And through some exploratory conversations, we found out, hey, this really can work well. And not only that, but we can increase the positive impact by not only reporting rental trade lines, but we pioneered the way for credit bureaus to accept utility trade lines. And even though rent, like Talia was mentioning earlier, is generally the biggest monthly payment, utilities were smaller, but adding some diversification to especially a lot of thin files, we saw some pretty substantial increases. I mean, personally, I've seen it in my family. My younger brother went from unscorable to 700 by reporting his rent and utilities. And I spent, a little over a year and a half in a community participating in RentPlus, and took my own credit score from 740 to 800. So it's been a fun ride.